Patch 2.6.7 hit PTR last Thursday, and of course, it's been my quest to find the new and best speed farm builds. And today, I bring to you guys my new favorite speed farm build from the PTR, the Seismic Slam Barbarian. Now, in the gameplay above, you will see, me flying through 95s. This is on a seasonal character. The gear is nothing is augmented whatsoever. 1,000 Paragon, and we are just flying through 95s. It is actually a super fun, super satisfying build. So this actually utilizes the Might of Earth set. Now the Might of Earth set received no changes this last PTR, but because of 2 item changes, this build becomes a possibility. So your first reaction might be, I don't see you leaping everywhere. What's the deal? We actually don't care about earthquake damage here. We're actually just wearing the Might of Earth set because it gives you a 20k damage mod on Seismic Slam. And so the leap isn't in the build to just spam and, dump all your fury and just get earthquakes going everywhere. This is not a leap quake build. We're only leaping to really get the mitigation bonus. But this build is possible because of the changes they made to the Fjord Cutter. So Seismic Slam attacks 50% faster and also deals up to 150% increased damage against slowed or chilled enemies. And this 50% increased attack speed is actually insane. Now on top of that, they changed the Seismic Slam bracers, the bracers of destruction, to hit the first 10 enemies with that 500% damage instead of the first 5. And why that might not sound like a lot on paper, it's actually pretty significant. The other big change on this PTR is Fury of the Ancients, the shoulders. Your Ancients attack a lot faster, so your Fury from these alone is enough to carry your Seismic Slam just spamming. Plus, you're spamming insanely fast, and these guys actually keep up with the Fury cost, which is actually crazy. So first, let's talk about skills. We're using Call the Ancients Together as one. Together as one gives you mitigation, and combined with the Fury of the Ancient Shoulders and the Cube, as we just discussed, they are your way of generating Fury. Now, we're not using Immortal King set 2-piece here, so they're not permanently up. So our objective here is to stack a ton of cooldown to get these guys with 100% uptime. So we're getting cooldown on absolutely everything, weapons, armor, everything you can do, and you're using an Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. Now, because you hit so fast, the Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac actually has really good value in this build. Plus, you're using 2 really big cooldowns, Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients. So Obsidian Ring is super vital here. We're using Seismic Slam Permafrost. Why Permafrost? Because the Fjord Cutter, if you notice, it says increased damage against slowed or chilled enemies. Our goal here is to be at range all the time. So, Bane the Trap proccing itself isn't going to be enough to carry the damage. So we need a way of chilling at range, which we absolutely have to run the Permafrost rune. That is a way to chill at range. We're not going to be up in the mob's face most of the time with this build. You want to stay at range, get the maximum utility out of Zai's Stone of Vengeance. We're using Leap, Death from Above. Again, this isn't something you spam like normal Leap Quake. It's not like Leap, 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 Slam, Leap, 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 Slam. It's just something you cast every once in a while. Make sure you keep up the 4-piece of Might of Earth, which says Leap causes an earthquake when you land. We don't really care about that. The earthquake it does damage, but you don't really care about it. But Leap gains the effect of Iron Impact Rune, and the rune's effect and duration are increased by 150%. So that gives you a ton of armor, which is great for your mitigation. Leap is also great here because defensively, it's actually fantastic. You can jump over molten explosions if you time it right. You can get yourself out of trouble. Leap's actually an amazing defensive ability. It can cover a lot of ground, cover areas that other classes can't even do. So it's great to just have this in the build as a utility instead of just spamming it. Using Wrath of Berserker Insanity, no brainer here. Tons of damage, 50% increased damage. Battle Rage, you can do quite a few different runes here on the Battle Rage. I personally like Bloodshed because when you get those packs together, they'll proc the Bloodshed rune and kill each other. But you can definitely run, Marauder's Rage. You can even run Ferocity for more movement speed. Now, this last slot is super up to you. And if I were to push with this, I would put in Nor Pain with Ignorance is Bliss. But again, any cooldown you put in this last slot is going to count against you for the Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, because there's a chance that it could take down the cooldown of that instead of Call of the Ancients or Wrath of the Berserker. So just to keep this silky smooth, I don't run another cooldown. And the sprint actually is really nice here because, again, this is all about speed. We're just trying to fly through that rift as fast as we possibly can. So I really like sprint here. But again, if you're having trouble surviving or if you're trying to push with this build, Ignore Pain is a better choice. For passives, we're going to go with No Escape. No brainer here. You get 30% increase, Seismic Slam, Multiplier if they're 15 yards or more away from you. Nervous Steel, you don't want to die. That's a no-brainer. Boonable Kathos, because we are using Kali Ancients, we are using Wrath of Berserker, so this just decreases our cooldown even more. And then finally Rampage. Again, we're flying through the rift as possibly can. And next season is the kill streak season, so this just has like great value this season in particular. For gear, as we said, we're using the Mightyverse set, and again, stacking cooldown absolutely everywhere. We're also using Captain Crimson's set here, and again, we're using the Ring of Royal Grandeur in the cube, so we can wear 3-piece captains, 6-piece Might of Earth, no problem. Bracer Destruction, no brainer, buffs the crap out of Seismic Slam damage. For weapons, we're going to use the Echoing Fury. Now, basically what this means is you get 15% attack speed and 5% movement speed per kill, stacking up to 5 times. So you get, you know, at max stacks, you get 75% attack speed and 25% movement speed. Again, because this is a speed farm build, that's amazing. Plus, you're stacking that with Fjord Cutter, the new Fjord Cutter, which gives you a base 50% attack speed. So you can see the attack speed is actually kind of nutty, on top of also increasing the Seismic Slam damage by up to 150%. Now, no Seismic Slam build could be without the Fury of the Vanished Peak. It's a 2-hand mighty weapon we're going to throw in the cube. Of course, this reduces the cost of Seismic Slam, increases its damage by up to 500%, which is a juicy for this build. Now, as we already said, we're using Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, we're using Ring of the Royal Grandeur, but the last pieces of jewelry, it's up to you. This is, I think, the best setup for speed farming. If I was to push with this build, I would definitely use the Endless Walk set, I think would be the best choice. But because we're speed farming here, I really like Convention of Elements and Flavor of Time. You know, double duration of pylons, and of course, COE is just a flat more damage, you know, 25% of the time. Now, you could make an argument for Squirts, because you are technically supposed to stay at range here. Squirts isn't terrible. It's really hard to keep up, especially when you speed farm, because you're just moving through the rift so fast. So I found the value was not great unless you ran like something like a Gizzard to keep yourself shielded, but then you're getting rid of one of the really great gems. And also, you know, if you're struggling to survive, you could definitely run a Band of Might. Band of Might would make this mitigation shoot through the roof and just be literally unkillable, especially in the speed farm GR range. But, you know, for me, I like being just a little squish, so go with that extra damage. Now, of course, our gem choice, we're running a Zai Stone of Vengeance because we're trying to stay at range here. The further you are away from the mob, the more damage you do. That's how Zai's work. So great with this setup. Bane of the Trap, no brainer. It's a staple, pretty much every build ever. And I'm actually using a Bane of the Powerful, 20% flat damage after killing the elite pack, and then of course 15% increased damage versus elites. Again, you could run something like Goguk of Swiftness. For speed farming, it's actually still quite good because it gives you a cooldown, which you desperately need. And I might suggest running a Goguk like early season until you can get a cooldown on every piece. And of course, that attack speed is no slouch as well. More attack speed in this build equates to a lot more damage. So Goguk is a really solid choice as well. Now again, if I were going to push with this on the leaderboard, I would definitely probably recommend the Endless Walk set in your necklace and your other ring slot. And I would also swap out Sprint for something like Ignore Pain, Ignorance is Bliss. So you can just stand and stuff and heal yourself because you attack so fast. Now, a couple quick things to know. The Ancients will kind of fall behind you because you're going so fast. So it can be helpful if you're running low on Fury to just leave a couple mobs up, like don't kill them. And then because your Ancients won't be able to keep up with you, they'll stand back and they'll attack that one guy and your Fury bar will like go up instantly. That's just something I've noticed. You know, maybe keep a couple mobs up behind you if you find yourself running out of Fury. That can be super helpful. Also, make sure you keep up your leap slam buff. You can see that ticking down on your bar down here. Not having it can make you a little squish, so just make sure you leap every once in a while just to keep that up. You don't really care about leaping or the cooldown of leap. Just use it for mobility, use it to get out of trouble, and use it to keep up that 4-piece Might of Earth. Now again, stat priority, cooldown, 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 cooldown. Gloves, strength, crit damage, crit chance, cooldown reduction, shoulders, you know, strength fight, all res, cooldown, helmet, preferably strength, seismic slam, crit chance, and a diamond if you can survive it. Chest, strength fight, reduce damage from elites, or life percent, it's up to you. Belt, strength fight, all res, and life percent. Pants, strength fight, all res, 2 sockets. Bootsies, strength fight, all res with seismic slam damage. Bracers, we're all cold here, so cold damage is super important. Cold, strength fight, crit. Flavor of Time, now these are going to be really hard to roll. Really hard to roll, especially early season. The dream would be something like crit damage, crit chance, cooldown reduction, and cold damage with a socket. Probability of you seeing that, pretty low. COE, the dream roll, crit damage, crit chance, and cooldown reduction with a socket. Obsidian, it can really only roll one way. Attack speed, crit chance, and in cooldown, get rid of the resource cost reduction for a socket. On the weapons, preferably you'd want the dream, which is base damage, damage percent, attack speed, and cooldown reduction. Attack speed and cooldown would be your number one choices if you had to go one way or the other. Attack speed has super high value on your weapons in this build, but again, if you get a weapon that's so good you could roll off main stat, that's what you want to do. And that's basically it, man. This build is actually a ton of fun to play, and you might look at this and be like, oh, it's Might of Earth, I don't want to play Leap Click again. And it's definitely nothing like that, as you can see in the gameplay above. And again, in gameplay above, we're speed farming 95s in like 2.5 minutes with 1k Paragon, 0 augments. So that's definitely a testament of how powerful this build is. And it's a ton of fun to play. So I definitely recommend trying it out. I definitely don't see this getting nerfed before it hits live, but you never know. Everything is subject to change, but I would be super surprised if it did. But yeah, again, Barbarian starts with the Whirlwind set in Season 19. So it's going to be a really strong choice because Whirlwind got some significant buffs this patch. Whirlwind's in a very, very, very good place. And this will be a great alternative to Speed Farm, a great alternative to pushing the leaderboard. And I'm super excited to try it out. But that's pretty much going to do it for the video, guys. As always, like, subscribe, come over to Twitch, ask your questions. We love you guys. Peace out.